Hello everybody, I am very happy to be here and in this beautiful Biennale, and I try to explain my work, and starting from a presentation of my where I live, because when an artist comes from Italy, feel the feeling of the big history we have, and especially if you live in Faenza, it's very famous city for ceramic, and also you feel the weight of the big tradition. This is Faenza. We have a church, big. Every city in Italy has a church, and also a big square, and we have also an important museum with a lot of pieces from the past and also contemporary. And I try a lot of inspiration from that museum, but sometimes it's a kind of limit. But fortunately in Italy we have also other fields where to try inspiration as fashion and design. And I try inspiration from fashion and also from design. Every year I go to Milan, where there is a big fair called Salone del Mobile, and every year I go and I try to find inspiration. And finally, probably I found the right inspiration, because this year they invited me in the Triennale Design Museum in Milan, so I was very satisfied. And my work is based on lines, and I try to bring the ceramic, which is normally a heavy material, towards an image of lights. This is my idea. So I use also light. This installation is with optical fiber. And this is 3 meters high. So this was installed in Venice Biennale. And the light creates a shadow. So this is very interesting for me, that aspect. So I will arrive through this path to the work exhibited here, looking at the shadow that the pieces make. And I am very fascinated from the shadow. It's something intangible. And I always use the shadow, but recently I'm more focused only on the shadow. This was in Ichon Biennale, here in Taiwan. Those are pieces that try inspiration from the 17th, 16th century, made in Faenza, and the name is crespine, are made with very thin decoration in porcelain. Also, I was fascinated by the shadow. And those pieces are almost 10 years old. Those are projection over the real pieces. So I have a picture of the texture projected on the real texture of the object, and there is another texture made from the shadow. And this is the real start with my last work. I discovered that if I use only one wing real, with the shadow I can have the idea of the butterflies. So I made installation on the wall with the fly, I don't know, of the butterfly. So this is my last installation with butterflies in National Gallery of Modern Art in Rome. And also there is a pieces similar on the right, the pieces is here in the Biennale. This is a butterfly in front. But to see the real butterfly, you have to stay 45 degrees. So now starts Ghost Collection, start in 2010, and this collection starts from the idea to showcase common objects around us, as a teapot, normal object, daily life object, a kind of stereotype. But they leave on the wall just their shadow, because the ceramic part is very thin, is intangible. It's made by very thin sheets of aluminum. And for example, a lamp, when switched on, instead of lighting up, it produces its own shadow, creating a kind of wonder. And it's a kind of illusion work. And the technology part was a little bit complicated for me, because I wanted a ceramic part very minimal. So finally I found the right material, because in Faenza we have a center of research, and they studied a new material fired very, very high temperature. And so in this series, Ghost Still Life is a kind of still life, but with object, normal object, as in normal still life, daily light object. But I introduce also pieces from museum as historical memory. In this case, Portland vase is a kind of icon of perfection. You can read by yourself. I can produce very well some words. So the work here. So see some information about the technical process. And so the sheets of aluminum are laser cut. And then I put on the plexiglass bars. This work was presented in Korea Ceramic Biennale in Incheon last year. And this is another installation in the museum. It's installed in one museum in Faenza, and it's the two installations are about pieces made in Faenza in 16th and 17th century, but now those pieces real pieces are in important museums in the world, in different museums. So I did a kind of virtual museum, bringing all the pieces together. The size of the pieces, the shadow, is the real size. And so we have pieces from Victoria and Albert, from British, some from Faenza, still in Faenza now. So it's a kind of a virtual museum that can mix all together again the pieces made in Faenza. All pieces was made in Faenza. And now returned in full scale because the silhouette in ceramic are stretched. So you can see. So I have the set. This is in the middle one. There is the most important pieces from Faenza. The name is La Giulia Bella. It's very, very famous. And I think the salt container is from Victoria and Albert on the left. I'm not able to use. This the list of the pieces, the real pieces made in Faenza, but not now hosted in the most important museum in the world. This is last piece I present you, and now is in Biennale of Valoris in France. And again, in this case, portal vase and another daily object. Thank you very much for attention.